activate intro. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Reaper Golf Videos, aka the Century Countess. Today I have a special announcement. Today is the beginning of a project, a very long-awaited project. You probably saw a little bit about it in the posts on my channel, and it's happening. So a little bit of backstory. Let's begin. So as you know, I was doing a dollhouse project. I was inspired by my friend Star Raven Gothic Eternity, who's been doing her dollhouse project, and I just got so inspired. I've been wanting to do a dollhouse for a very long time now, and I started on it. I was doing a Mr. Fancy Man themed dollhouse. It was going to be very flamboyant, very crazy, with some golf vibes, of course, but it was going to be like, very flamboyant, fancy man themed as well. And we got a good ways through. You probably saw some shorts. There's the shorts of that dollhouse project, and then on my Instagram page, the disaster hit. So we had just, we were getting a good ways away into completing. We were already getting ready to do the third floor, and then because of all of our altering, because we wanted to alter the stairs. We didn't like the floaty stairs. We didn't like, that there was a Pacific wall. So we got rid of that because we wanted the room to be huge. We didn't want these enclosed spaces. And because of that, the dollhouse was like, no. And despite a very powerful, we're talking about the most expensive, most super expensive super glue that I literally had to, when it got in between my hands, I had to basically rip my own skin off just to free my hands, and it was painful. So this was some powerful glue, literally some very powerful glue. It pricey as hell too, but we'll go into that a whole other thing. But unfortunately, that did not keep the dollhouse up. So when we started adding the tower, by the time we added the top part of the roof of the tower, it was like, I'm done. It fell apart. The project was destroyed. It basically destroyed itself. And there was no way of fixing it. There was no way of recovering. Pieces were broken. Pieces would not fix. We were already out of that powerful glue, and we couldn't afford another bit of that glue, and what glue that we had was not doing it. So we were like, we had to sack it. Almost $200 gone. The dollhouse was almost $200, I will admit. The dollhouse itself. And it was probably almost $300 if you add, and then if you include all the stuff we got for it, like the wallpaper, the little tile, the realistic tile pieces, you name it, it probably was almost like $300. I guarantee it was probably maybe almost $400 as far as we got, because we were so devoted to that project, and it was all gone. So we were devastated. We just took a long pause, and we were contemplating on how we're going to do this project. We've been wanting to do this project, but we decided, it's best to do a whole new theme, but something that suits me. And the idea came on a trip to the Dollar Tree. 1 sec. So me and my friend Chunky were at the Dollar Tree, this really, really good Dollar Tree. We're talking about ultimate Dollar Tree. And we went down the kitty section, and I immediately saw Stimpy. And I was like, please, I love Stimpy. I could tell you stories about my reasons why I love this character. They're both personal and, various reasons. And I was like, then right when I lifted him up from the little hanging display, here was Ren. And then my friend Chunky suggested, you should do a dollhouse based on Ren and Stimpy. The thought bubble hit. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember Ren and Stimpy. Oh my gosh, there is so much you can do with Ren and Stimpy. Seriously. Literally, you guys, seriously, there is so much that can be done with Ren and Stimpy. From exterior to interior, because literally they lived in various different places. Their rooms were decorated differently. So I thought this would be not only a challenge, but a fun challenge and a way to get my creativity flowing, because some of this stuff is not available to order. You have to make it yourself. You have to alter it yourself. So I thought this is like the ultimate project. So I used to have all seasons of this. I only have one. But we're not going to go into why I no longer have the other 2 seasons, because let's just say it falls into the realms of drama, and we're not going into that realm today. But yes, this is season 1. Season 1 and the first and second seasons, I should say, and it has a lot of good backgrounds. Of exteriors, interiors, bedrooms, kitchens, living rooms, ideas of wallpaper, you name it, literally. And oh my gosh, I could go on forever. So without long story short, to save my vocal cords, let me just show you some exteriors of places that Ren and Stimpy live, and this research of exteriors, buildings, places gave me ideas of the perfect dollhouse to grab. So without further ado, let's show you the exteriors of some of the places, at least some of the images that I could find. They lived in various places, but these are some of the images that I could find, that I could come up with and put together to give you an idea of what choices we have for this dollhouse. So without further ado, let's roll the clip for the exteriors of the Ren and Stimpy project. So yeah, I have a lot of choices, literally. I mean, I will say the first 2 episodes of Ren and Stimpy, which is, I want to say Stimpy becomes famous, he wins a contest on the Mud Skipper show, he ends up in Hollywood. Those two episodes, I'm referring to them as a 1 and 2-parter, because basically, the second episode is a continuation of part 1. They live in a trailer, and then over the episodes, their style of living metastified. They were living in birdhouses. They were living in giant washed whale corpses. They were living in a cow corpse, which is one of the images that you saw in the interior video. They were living in retro homes. They were living in farmhouses, literally, and also there was some. Also, they did have commercials. For those of you who are not Ren and Stimpy fans who have not seen the original Ren and Stimpy show, they would have fake commercials about this toy that was literally a log that you could dress up and do stuff to. They had like powdered toast, food advertisements, like. And I will admit, there was a cereal advertisement that I actually tried to get used because Stimpy said this was an easy way to get the toy out of the cereal box without your parents knowing. And I actually did that, and it worked for a very short while. But that's a whole other story. So anyway, yes, some of my insanities as a kid was basically encouraged by the Ren and Stimpy show. That's how much of a devotee I saw it. If Ren and Stimpy told me to do something, I would do it. Just about with my abilities as a kid. I never did the whole unwashed leather hosen thing. But that's a whole other story. We'll go into that later, another time. So yes, I also decided, you know what, I need to do the layout of what I want for this dollhouse. I do not want a great big dollhouse this time, because literally, when we grabbed the dollhouse at the place that we got it from, it was hell. It was hell. And it's a long story. So I decided that I'm going to order it online. I'm saving up for it. I'm not going to go into detail of what brand of dollhouse or what this dollhouse looks like, but the floating stair issue, there are stairs, but they're not floating stairs. That's all I'm going to say. So 4 rooms. It's 4 rooms, so it's a 2-floor house, and that's all you're getting. That is all you're getting. And I tried my hardest to try to find something that was very close to the exterior of the Ren and Stimpy world. I found something kind of close, kind of cartoony, and the color scheme, I think it's unpainted. But if you saw the yellow house with the red roof, we're going to go with that color scheme for the outside of the house, and which falls into what we're going to be doing with the interiors of the house. So the plan is, we gotta have the living room. We gotta have the living room area, because that's basically where most of the Ren and Stimpy episodes always occur. Stimpy and Ren are either watching TV or one of them's reading a book. And for some reason, almost every episode falls into a living room scene. And also we're going to do a kitchen, because Ren always wants his food, and Stimpy's the one that must cook for him. So we're going to definitely do a kitchen, because that is also a very important part of their house. The least important part of the house is the bathroom, and in the images that I'm going to show very shortly, you can tell that there wasn't much detail in the bathroom sequences. They have the necessaries of a bathroom, but the decor and everything, there wasn't. And there was also some backdrops that was reused in other episodes, and that also helped me with an idea of what I should do for, the walls and floor designs. Various wall designs for living rooms and kitchens, but there was a reoccurring theme that I noticed in each and every one. Now, the bedroom is inspired by 2 episodes of Ren and Stimpy. One episode, I will be brutally honest, I cannot remember the name of that episode, but it was a bedroom scene, and it was very similar to the other episode, which is Nurse Stimpy, and that episode is in I believe the first or early second season, and Ren is sick, so Stimpy devotes himself as a nurse and to make sure that Ren can be basically back to his evil, nasty self, and basically, in a way, Stimpy puts him for torture. And I think Stimpy knew that, because at the very end of that episode, Stimpy's sick, and Ren basically is like, now it's his turn, and Stimpy has like this reaction like, oh shit. So the bedroom is going to be based on the episode that I can't remember. I just remember how the bedroom looked. which there's images of, and there's also images of Nurse Stimpy, the bedroom sequence. And I really like the wallpaper with the weird, like it was like a salmon color with this weird double figure eight design in like a combo of two-tone. I think it was like white and blue, so we're going to try something like that. And we can't find wallpaper like that, so we have to make it. Like I said, most of this is going to have to be made. This is going to have to be painted because there's no wallpaper that looks like that. However, I will say there is a backdrop of a blue background with these little diamond pattern designs. I actually found dollhouse wallpaper that looked exact. It looked exact, but there was just one sheet of it, and there's no way I can cover one section of a room in a dollhouse with just one sheet of dollhouse paper. So we are going to have to paint it, stencil it ourselves, and hope to goodness we do a damn good job, because seriously, this is Ren and Stimpy. This is my childhood, my eccentric childhood. We have to make it look good. We have to make it look insane. So bedroom, bathroom, living room, kitchen. Those are the four things we're going to focus on. We will do some detail with the stairs. We have some creativity in that at least. But other than that, I am keeping my fingers crossed I can grab that dollhouse, because like I said, I'm not going to name what brand it is, what it looks like, because like I said in the past, I have been very descriptive, and I don't know if it's because of my description somebody else eBayed it, searched it, found it, bought it. So I'm not going to be too descriptive of what this dollhouse looks like, what brand of dollhouse this is. I've already told you a little too much of it already, but it falls under what I want, which is something that does not have floating stairs and plenty of room. It has plenty of room. That's all I'll say. So without further ado, let me show you the exterior ideas that I have in mind for this house. Here are the exterior designs, the design ideas that I have for the kitchen, the design ideas for the bedroom, living room, bathroom. You'll see that there is a pattern, like some furniture reappears in different scenes, wallpapers, color schemes. You'll notice and you'll kind of get an idea of what I'm going to be doing. So here's images of the exteriors of the rooms, backgrounds in the Ren and Stimpy show. So basically, that is what we're going to be doing. There's going to be, obviously we're thinking about maybe making the kitchen green with yellow tiles. The bathroom is going to be kind of like an off-white yellow with blackish blue, grayish tile lower half, while the upper half is like that yellowish off-white icky color with hints of pink. And the living room, we want to do that really cool blue with the diamond design. And then obviously we want to do a chair and a couch and a TV and this weird spiral circle rug thingy that looks like a target on the floor type of design. A few crazy picture frames. We have to have a toaster in symbolic of Powder Toast Man. Yes, so it's going to be interesting. Bedroom is going to be, bedroom is going to be, we're going to hopefully be a good replica of the Nurse Stimpy episode bedroom scene, as best as our ability. Let me see, what else? And like I said, the stair area is going to be we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. As for if we're going to use wallpaper tile flooring or actual tiles, I don't know. It was very expensive when we tried doing the tiles, and it was chaos. I'm telling you guys, it was chaos when you had to kind of use a scalpel knife to kind of cut the fake tile, when it's like, okay, it was going to overlap, and if you don't add it, there's going to be a gap, so you had to cut it. So fingers crossed, if it comes to that there's less cutting, because it is not easy to cut that tile, and it's damaging to that tile, because if you make a mistake, it's shit. So without further ado, normally I would be like, thank you everyone for watching, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, but we're not done. We're beginning the project a little bit early. It's not big part of the project, but we've already started grabbing stuff. As you saw, you saw the Ren and Stimpy figures, which we may not use because we found some better ones, but we may still use those. I don't know. It's far in the future. But we found a chair. We found the perfect chair, and I was so hesitant in painting it and altering it because I really liked the design on it. It kind of reminded me of the blue wallpaper in the sequence that I just showed you. But Ren has a Pacific chair. In most of the early episodes, he is always in this big, brownish, tan, throne-looking chair. I mean, it even appeared in a type of fantasy episode where he's king of this fairy race, and instead of a throne, it's like this special armchair. It's like a thrifted throne armchair. It looks nice, but if you look closely, there's obviously episodes where it looks stained, it looks worn out. There's even a comic of a red version of that chair, and Stimpy's scratching it up. So let me show you those images, and we'll get to what I'm talking about. So here's the images of that chair and what we're going to be doing shortly. So that's what we're doing, and we have the chair. The chair arrived a few days ago, and I already did footage of me working on it. So here is the footage of the transformation of this dollhouse chair into Ren's iconic brownish tan throne chair. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed that. Here's the chair. It's fully dry. I wanted to kind of give it a wear look. So here it is, it's slightly worn on the bottom. And as you saw in the video, near the end, I did kind of like dry brush it a little to blend like the new paint and the old paint to kind of give it like a layer effect. Kind of has like this old worn leather look now, and which is what we were going for. So it used to be it's actually still kind of cushiony soft. But we're not going to play with poke it too much because we may crack the paint, because you never know, because this is not fabric paint. This is actually regular acrylic paint on a fabric covered dollhouse furniture item. But other than that, it turned out pretty good. It actually looks like the chair, literally just about. And I really like the shape. The shape did remind me of that chair from the Ren and Stimpy episodes. So and it felt like Ren. It felt like Ren, not the color it was. And I will admit, I kind of was unhappy. I hope I can find another chair that actually has that design again, because that was a pretty design. At least I liked it. But this was sacrificed to be turned into a Ren chair. This is the Ren chair in all its glory. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this entire video. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell, and stay tuned. We're going to continue on this new dollhouse journey, the Ren and Stimpy Home Edition. So, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!